welcome once again to this lovely workshop. Okay, exciting workshop. The workshop's name is Strategic Performance Management with Balanced Scorecard. Okay. Uh, so when we are actually wanting to know about strategic performance management with Balanced Scorecard, let us reflect upon all of you are either HR heads having put in so many years of experience, and some are HR heads, some are senior tenured HR employees. Let's reflect on what is the current practice in your performance management, you know, so that we can connect from there. Let us look at, hey, what kind of performance management you all have, all right? So to make your thinking simpler, easier, I have a small, and then we'll start what we are going to do. I have a small template. All of you, I want you to actually look at some of these elements or features. For example, what is the focus? Think of your organization. Huh? You can just give me 1 or 2 or 3 points. What is the focus or what is the purpose of your current PMS in your organization? Okay. Then the purpose could be, say, for example, is it just an annual review, annual appraisal for the sake of salary, promotions, etc., etc.? Okay. Huh? Whatever be it. Or is the focus just, current performance? Or is it aligned strategically to the strategic goals? Then frequency of this performance management. Is it annual or is it quarterly or is it an ongoing process? Okay. Then what kind of measures are used? You can, whatever comes to your mind, what kind of tools and systems? Is it a paper-based or is it a software technology-based? What kind of a goal setting you all do? Is it linked to strategy? Okay. Who owns it? Is it the HR? Is it the line? Is it the leadership? To make it a little easier, I have also a ready-made. This only gives you a little help. I will put it in the 1 second. Okay. This is just to guide your thinking. I'll put it here. Okay. This is for you to guide your thinking. Take about 5 to 10 minutes and I want you to just write few points. All of you, yes? Gargi, very clear?
Yes, clear.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you have to reflect on your own PMS system right now in your organization. Okay. If you are an HR leader, all the more you would be knowing everything. Or if you are a user also, or if you are planning. So whatever information you have. So to make your thinking a little easier, how to analyze or think. So I just gave you some descriptions. So I want you to put your thoughts there. I want you to write down so that, it becomes much easier when you have to speak about it. Because your descriptions or your thoughts should be as it exists now, not what it should be. Okay, I'm going to go to that blank sheet so that I can use that. Okay. Because there was some kind of
our purpose and focus is aligned with our organization goals.
Can I just interrupt there? Vivek, can I interrupt there?
Yeah.
You said our purpose is to align. So the focus for you is alignment, right?
Yes,
Huh?
yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So that individual person is a participant. So his assessment, we are assessing their at the time of assessment, so that they achieve their KRAs or not, and addressing development needs also, if why they failed for their task and all that.
Okay. So your purpose and focus is aligning with strategy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Alignment. Huh? So what you are also saying, your key measures, that is, you are using KPIs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you are saying purpose, so KPIs which are as of now are aligned with, I'm assuming when you are saying that,
Yeah.
aligned with the strategy. That
Yeah.
means they have cascaded down, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. KPIs, okay. That's the measurement. And then you are also having, okay, you are also saying that we also do development.
Yeah.
That is after the review. So you
Yeah.
do coaching, mentoring, development as a part of the review process, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Would you like to say something on frequency? How often is it
And
done?
at the moment is annual, but in half yearly we just check. But is frequency is annual at the moment. We are going to
So,
for half yearly.
the process, it's a formal process which is annual.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else you want to add here? Goal setting, or is it
So we
paper
have
based?
we have a format for that goal settings. So we are
Okay.
using that format.
Okay.
And the ownership and involvement is HR, HOD, and leadership team also, management teams also. They have involved.
Okay. Is it paper based right now?
Yeah,
Okay. Paper
but
based.
our target is to take some success factor and also and some HR mantra, and we are discussing in the
Okay. So you are in the process of evolving and getting into digitization,
yes,
right?
yes, yes.
Okay. Ownership and involvement is by, it's driven by HR, or is it HR and line, or is it HR line leadership?
So we definitely initiated by HR. We are the custodian, but involvement is
Okay.
HOD and management also.
All right. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Vinod, you had something. Yeah. Anyone else?
Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Please go ahead. Go
yeah.
ahead.
So, as I was saying, as far as I'm concerned, it's an annual exercise for appraisal, largely
Okay.
to point out non-performance.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So it is done annually. Individual KPIs with no methods, it's been random, no alignment
Mm-hmm.
with the purpose. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Tool, yes, they have an HRMS in-house system which is being used.
Mm-hmm.
Goal setting, not objective based, random again, as I mentioned earlier. No link to
Mm-hmm.
strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Driven by HR, but I don't see that
Mm-hmm.
connect, which should ideally be there by taking the team along. Okay. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and from the strength perspective, I say it's nil. Challenges, I believe the HR has not been able to spell out to the people what is it in for me there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So ownership.
So there's a total
Mm.
disconnect
Okay. Okay.
because the reward mechanism, the development part, the training has no interconnection. So
Mm.
it's an independent of all that.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. Thank you. No link to strategy also, no?
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Anyone else? Thank you so much, Vinod. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Malevan.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah.
So
Please.
as a purpose for us, it's an annual review and development also. But
Okay. It's annual
it's
review.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
annual review for
Mm-hmm.
majorly for increment purpose or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Frequency wise, we have divided it's a quarterly because it's a IT company, so deliveries are matters.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
we are measuring on quarterly basis and plan
Okay.
accordingly the skill developments
Okay.
also because skills are day to day updating in market.
Okay. Quarterly measures are there.
Yeah.
Right. Then
And
paper-based, or
no,
I'm sure
it's a
IT.
tool. We
So
are
it must
using
be a
a KK one,
tool-based. Yeah.
HRMS.
What tool do you
HRMS is
use?
there.
HRMS. Okay.
Yeah, KK tool
Okay.
is there.
Okay. Then goal setting, obviously, it
Goal
must be
setting, we
project.
have tried to do map with the organization goal and team goal, but exactly it's not mapped 100%.
Okay.
What exactly
Okay.
we feel, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
same issue with the link strategy also. If the goals are not mapped, definitely. And ownership, especially it's HR and manager, the resources are not much taking the initiative to do.
Okay. Okay. I forgot to ask other people. So, Tiwari ji, so tell me what you consider as one strength in this current performance management system in your organization.
It's just because of system and all. It's on time only. Totally, we are okay to manage. But yes, the huge gap is there. Effectiveness, if I am talking about.
So you are
So
saying the one strength is because it is, I mean, not paper based, but it is driven by the system,
yes,
huh?
yes, system. That's
So
why
there is
people are doing.
efficiency. You are doing the
Yes,
system. I mean, you are following the process. But
process.
when it
Yes.
comes to effectiveness, that is the gap, right?
Yes, it's
Oh,
only they are completing the papers. That's
okay. I will start writing. So you are saying gap in effectiveness.
it. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Anyone else wants to contribute?
Yes,
Yeah.
hi.
Mm,
From
mm,
my end, we do this process annually. We have started this thing doing, okay. And from our end, we need to identify, um, we have to do the justification for our self roles and responsibilities. What we are doing day to day, what our targets are there, and all. How we
okay.
can take a new roles, new responsibilities
Uh-huh.
to the current roles and all. Strength, we
Mhm,
can say this will help us to achieve our goals. Basically,
mhm,
right now we are doing on paper based, right? To
mhm,
bring to the system, we are planning to start from the papers. And
mhm,
once this things goes on very well note, then we can bring out the importance of the systems also. Let them get
mhm,
familiarization with the things and all. Then we can take it
mhm.
ahead. This is what
Okay.
we have started with new things.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah,
You said something about goal setting.
yeah.
Can you
Like,
repeat?
like right now, the what we are thinking, like the peoples are doing their roles, they are achieving their targets also. But end of the year, they are not able to justify themselves. Like it's not
So if
any
I were to go a
mentioned.
little deeper, Justify, you
Yeah.
said, how is goal setting being done here right now in your organization?
Right now, we have started with doing. We have sent it like papers. We have some templates where we can share them how they can bring their 5 points, what exactly they are doing and all. How
Mm-hmm.
they can discuss the same thing in annually with their managements, with their reporting
Okay.
bosses and all. Then we can
Okay.
discuss with their seniors how we can implement those guys and what kind of a ratings we can give them.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Mm-hmm.
Basically, justification to how we can give them like increment parts.
Okay.
On what
Got it.
basis we are giving the increments, on what
Okay.
basis we are not giving, like that.
Okay. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. All right. Okay. Anyone else wants to we'll take one more person. Yeah.
Yeah. If I may. No, no, please
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, Yogesh.
Yeah, thank you. So the purpose and focus is appraisal, and the major focus is bringing high productivity, from the departments. That is the
Mhm.
main purpose and focus areas for this year, especially considering the IT sector. The because lots of
Mhm.
changes are happening there, so that is the main objective.
Mhm.
And frequency is annual.
Mhm. Okay. Mhm. Okay.
And third one is definitely KPIs and the behavior
Mm-hmm.
indicator. That is very, very important in the organization. And
Mm-hmm.
then tools, we have one internal tool where we assess, the PMS, we run the PMS cycle. So we have one internal tool, but yes, we are going to integrate with the Workday. So we are in discussion with Workday.
Okay. Tool
And
based.
yeah, tool based.
Okay.
And
So
goals, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
One strength in your current performance, as you understand, one strength of your performance management system, what do you consider?
So high performance is definitely getting appreciated, and because we have a robust system here, where we are setting up, we have a defined timeline, and we have, uh, the goal setting is, we are very much clear about it. We make people understand about it, and they run it through within the department. So that is one of the main strengths.
Okay. All right. And one gap, one
Some
challenge. Hmm.
the challenge that I see is, especially from a manager perspective, sometimes the seriousness is not there, because the- they do not understand that it has to be aligned, whatever PPA that they are assigning. It has to be aligned with the organization goal, which is missing there. At times it is completely related to the daily work that we have been doing. So that I think we need to focus on. So, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So somewhere you felt that the alignment is missing a little.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So I thought when Yogesh wanted to start off, there was someone
Yes,
who
ma'am. Divakar.
wanted to contribute. Yeah, Divaka.
Yes.
Excellent. Yeah. Tell
So,
me
ma'am,
from the total reward perspective.
so my current organization, if I talk about this organization, an organization which has been in this similar business for last 75 years, I find too many flaws in the current PMS process.
Mhm.
So
So
the very
shall
purpose
I
of,
say a lot
yeah,
of challenges?
yes, ma'am.
Hmm?
So
Mm.
the challenge is in terms of the adaptability and the intent of the organization. Now, what is happening is the business has been very volatile over a period of time. COVID, aviation, getting so much of it, and then uh, coming back and all those things. So here I would want to quote the example of my previous company, which was into a steel sector. So over there, there was a process of entrepreneurship operating system (EOS). So it had an 8-stage process, and in which the very best process was the long-term vision setting, the goal setting.
Mm-hmm.
So Vision
Mm-hmm.
2030, they wanted to be 3 times of what their existing production capacity was. So
Mm-hmm.
based on that, the 5-year, 3-year, and 1-year objectives were set. And
Mm-hmm.
each yearly objectives were then divided into quarterly objectives, quarterly into weekly objectives, and internal departmental reviews were every Monday, the management reviews were every Tuesday. So this is how the weekly objectives and any uh, targets that are set for the quarter, those were called as rocks. This is the term that is used in EOS.
Okay.
So, and either it can be 0% or 100%. So
Okay.
it cannot be a partial fulfillment of any of the targets that were set.
Okay.
So then,
So
so this was a very rigorous and a very
so
disciplined
so
process.
you had measures, you had objectives,
Yes, ma'am.
you
So,
had measures,
so each department,
you also had targets,
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
and obviously you must have had even initiatives, right?
Yes, ma'am.
To
Initiatives was a bigger because any business cannot be 3 times of what its existing limits are. It has to have too much of initiative, both from the founders level, both from a departmental
right.
level
So
also.
ownership was right from the top.
Yes. So if
Okay.
we knew that 24 hours if the plant has to run, then only we'll be able to produce 5,50,000. But to produce beyond 550, then we need to acquire, we need to have expansions, we need to have some land acquisitions in place, set up machineries in. So all those things, the management also took ownership of this, and then the entire planning and execution was done. So this
So
is
the
this.
entire PMS was linked to the strategy, because if you are saying you have to grow in terms of even production, revenue, etc.,
Yes,
it was
yes,
totally linked to the strategy. Okay.
yes. And it was divided into in the organizational KPIs, organizational level. So it was 50%, departmental level 30%, and individual, so 20%. So all this
Okay.
cascading was done to the last person in the organization. So all this was through Microsoft OneDrive, that this entire data filling and everything was being done. It was a very nice process, which is something that I would want to get forward to in other organizations. But yes, the limitations were also the challenges. If I talk about, obviously, first year we had a 10% growth. Next year we were almost like 35% of growth. By executing all this process, we were growing. But the management, because of all these expansions and all those cash flows issues and everything, raw material prices hitting up and all, so the management became reluctant to reward people at the last moment because of this. So then the entire purpose gets defeated. What people put in their efforts each week so that the quarterly objectives
Got
are
it.
met, and then
Got
if
it.
those are met, how the management reciprocates. So this was one of the
Okay.
biggest
Okay.
challenges.
So there was a, the challenge with the, performance management, and how was it linked to the total reward or reward system?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Lovely. Thank you so much for that input, Divakar. All right. So excellent. Now, I thought this was a very good starting point for us to start off, because all of you are tenured and you really want to either design one, or you want to improve the existing one, or apply the balanced scorecard. So we therefore have to understand, first of all, hey, when I'm talking about a performance management system as such, so we'll first talk about the PMS, and then I'll tell you what are we planning to do. So when we talk about the performance management system, most of you were talking actually about performance management system, what goal setting, okay, and then you are doing what, managing performance, having an annual review. It could be by quarterly, or it could be, some said, okay, we have also biannual. And then you are having you are identifying training needs, you are developing them, and then you are also linking it with the reward system. And when you're doing goal setting, some of you also mentioned that as per the role, what is he supposed to be doing typically? And not taking into consideration, hey, what is the organization? Some of you, I'm not saying all of you, like Divakar said, it is linked to strategy. So some of you said that, as per the role and as per some few stakeholders' expectations, I decide on what is he supposed to be doing, the goals, right? You might be setting goals. Now we'll go through some of the process of setting goals as well. And then, are we actually looking at the resources required when you're setting the goals? Because the resources could be required in terms of even skills, upskilling. It could be also in terms of material, machine, all these resources. You just can't say, okay, I've set goals for Yogesh, and for tomorrow he has to actually initiate and run a PMS with a balanced scorecard. Then he doesn't have a clue, no training, nothing, no resources, no technology. How is he going to do? So have I discussed all that when I have given that mandate for him? So goal setting, very, very important. But tell me, from all these, whatever you have mentioned, from your experience, that if I actually do a performance management without linking it to the big picture or with the strategy, what do you think will happen? Like Yogesh said, we believe in high productivity. We want to produce more. Produce more means more revenue, right? So what will happen if there is no alignment at all?
See, if the objectives or the PMS is managed in silos by different departments, the ultimate aim of the organization, the very purpose why the organization exists, will not be achieved. Okay, the larger picture or the big picture will be missed somewhere. There will
At least
always
what
be.
I will do. Yeah, excellent, Vinod. I'm so sorry to interrupt. So that means finance will do its own, HR will. So everybody is working toward their own goals. But will the organization actually win or be successful if, if the big picture is lost, right? So what we are actually going to learn is, so what we are actually going to see is, what is the strategic performance management all about? And then how does Balanced Scorecard as a tool help organizations use this tool effectively for strategic performance management? So we will understand all this, and in detail today, what you're going to learn is the Balanced Scorecard. What are the perspectives? How do you actually go about designing a Balanced Scorecard? And how does it really link with the big picture? And how can you use it as a performance management in the performance management system? Okay. And tomorrow we are going to actually then talk about much more in detail Balanced Scorecard and the strategy maps, which will help us to achieve what the strategy, the intent, the strategic intent. Having said that, let us understand first. Typically, when I talk about what is a performance management process? It's all about what? It's a structured process, right? Where organizations, first of all, what? Set goals, and then they track the process. They improve the employees' performance, and it involves what? Setting expectations, feedback, tracking, evaluating the results, reviewing, and of course, they link it with the reward system. So typically what happens, it involves 4 elements. Very important. Planning, monitoring, evaluation, development. It can look like this. No? This is a typical performance management cycle. So when I talk about planning, what do we do? Typically, what do we do? What are the, at a very broad level, when I say in a PMS, when I talk about planning, what do we do?
So, somewhere we are looking at, ma'am, what are we going to do as an organization? What do we want to achieve in the year to come? How can each department or function contribute to that? And then it gets cascaded. So, typically, a top-down cascade and smart goals, as you mentioned.
Yeah. So, typically, if you are only sticking to a PMS, then what do? The boss and the subordinate will set goals at the beginning of the year. It is set in a financial year. It could be January to December, or it could be, say, April to March. So it's set in a year where at the beginning of the year, the boss and the subordinate will set goals. And why do we say it has to be agreed goals typically when we are doing a goal setting? Because if it is not agreed goals, then there is no ownership. But don't undermine this word agreed, because when you say agreed, that means the subordinate looks at, hey, is it too much of a stretch? Do I have the resources? Huh? So therefore, we also talk about the SMART goals, no? Which have to be specific, measurable, realistic, timely. So we talk about the SMART goals. So as Gargi, is it? Gargi also mentioned, in a basic PMS, you are only doing goal setting between subordinate and superiors. But typically, when we talk about a strategic performance management system, then we are looking at, hey, what is the strategic intent of the organization? Because from the strategic intent, based on the vision mission, we will derive what? Our goals, the strategic goals, which get cascaded down to various departments or businesses, and then cascaded down to all the employees. Very clear planning? I'm not going into too much of a detailing because most of you do this, so you all know. My focus will be more little bit at a BSc. When we talk about the next part of it, monitoring, after you set the goals, monitoring, or I also call it as managing. What does it mean? Anybody? All of you are tenured guys here. Quick.
The review process that we put.
Monitoring is different from somebody said reviewing, right? So the monitoring I also call it as managing, in the sense, having set the goals, it doesn't mean that then I wait for either it is 6 months or 1 year and then I do the review. No, I am actually trying to track his performance.
Yeah.
I'm trying to manage his performance, some course corrections, resources being provided. It could be at a skill level, it could be at a machinery level, it could be at a resource, any other level. So you're monitoring. You don't wait till the reviewing period to see, hey, he has actually not failed. Because when we talk about PMS, performance management system, you are setting up a system for success. Earlier on, we talked about, at least in my times, 30, 40 years ago, performance appraisal. It only happened at the end of the year. It was also confidential. And you only treated it for what? Oh, you didn't do well. So only this much increment. So it was used. What comes to your mind when we talk about performance appraisal? It means, hey, it's linked to your salary. That's all. But you can't afford to do that today because there is a wage cost. There is what? Employee cost to revenue, in the sense that higher the wage cost, then that means your profits are less. So what happens? You have to ensure, manage your employees' performance, because we are paying salary. Divaka would know that guaranteed salary, base salary month on month, irrespective of whether he performs or not performs, you have to pay that salary. Either you kick him out for underperforming or you keep him till then. So you have to manage. How do you manage? What are the ways of managing? Please, quick. Feedback.
I would, yeah, feedback.
That
There is
time to
Continuous
time,
feedback.
time to
You
time to
don't
time
wait till
discuss.
reviewing period.
Yes,
mentoring
time to
and
time
feedback.
discuss with the team member
I
and just
think
You
check it.
don't
one
wait
way,
till reviewing
Yes,
period.
yes, and discuss
In
one
time
way
to
is
fact,
time check
also
with the
the
team
catch-ups
member.
that happen. One way is also the catch-ups that happen. The way you mentioned, ma'am, that we decided something in April. There is a very high possibility in August, September, the scenario, macroeconomics, everything changes.
changed. So you have to
And
make
then,
course correction.
yes, and that is where, things may change. We may agree that, okay, we expected 120, we are okay with 80 now. Or we expected 120, but I think 150 can be done. Something like
So
that.
you change again. So there are course corrections you need to make. So I think most of the where Yogesh also mentioned about high productivity, this phase of managing, monitoring becomes very critical. And when you use a digitized or a tool, then you are able to track the performance. How are you going to track the performance? We'll come to a little later, but I want to introduce that. So when you set goals, that means he has to deliver certain outcomes, which I call it as lag indicators. But unless and until you discuss about the lead indicators, I'll give you a very simple, relatable example. Recruiter. So Divakar is a recruiter who has to close so many positions within this cost and within this time frame. All right. Okay. These are the results he has to do. KRS. But I am also not discussing about what gets into it. Lead indicators. What is that lead indicator? That means predictive drivers. So what could be predictive drivers for a recruiter? Like sourcing channels, how many CVs has it received, right? The entire funnel's yield ratio. So if I'm going to track all those leading indicators, then I will be able to predict that yes, he's able to achieve results. But I can't say, okay, after 2 months, hey, have you closed by 20 positions? They were very, very critical. But then as a boss, if I've not even looked at tracking how many CVs did he get, how many was it, the yield rate very good, Suddenly you have issued offers, etc., etc. Acceptance also was there, but on the day of training, only what 10% appeared, So when you are managing and monitoring, what is that you're going to manage and monitor? You have to track those leading indicators, or what I call it as predictive drivers. Just to elaborate a little, I don't know if everybody has understood about lead indicators. For a sales guy, he has to achieve, say, a target of 200 units. Okay. Now, if I keep saying, hey, have you achieved 200 units? But I'm not even managing monitoring then. I have to look at how many calls he made, where all did he go. So, what are those lead indicators to achieve that? Are you with me now? Okay. Now, once you do that, you have to review. It's a formal review vis-a-vis what were the targets or what were the goals, and has he been able to achieve. Then if he has not been able, how much did he achieve, and if he has not been to achieve, why did he not achieve? We are looking at all those and then seeing, hey, what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses, could those gaps be improved upon, and then you rate them, and the cycle goes on. Of course, it is linked to compensation. Okay, a typical performance management cycle. But when we talk about strategic performance management, this entire thing is aligned to the strategy. Now, how will you do that alignment? Only with the help of a certain tools and balanced scorecard. That's where Norton and Kaplan. So we will talk about how will you align. So that's where you will use your balanced scorecard. We'll talk about more, a little more. Let me just give you a little more on SMART goals, which is very, very important. Talked about SMART goals, right? Huh? How do you set SMART goals? And very common, everybody must have used it. That means they have to be really very, what? Specific. What does M stand for? It has to be measurable.
Measurable.
It has to be attainable, achievable. Because if you are going to stretch it more, no point, no? You have set it, but the person has not been able to achieve it. And it has to also be realistic within a time frame. Since you're tenured, I'm not actually taking a lot of time to make you understand this. But if you are just HR leads, I would have taken more time. But rather, I will ask you to quickly go to that activity. 1 second. There is an activity there in your... Can all of you quickly go to that activity? Very interesting. Goal setting is a very, very important element of performance management. Okay. So it's very important for you to understand what is a SMART goal and what is not a SMART goal. So Vilma will make you all into groups. Now, what you need to do is increase employee engagement. The first one I'm going to tell you, whether it's a SMART goal or it's not a SMART goal. Okay. So definitely, according to the definition of a SMART goal, specific, measurable, realistic, time frame, it has nothing. Okay. It's just a statement. It's a goal statement. So it is not a SMART goal. Now, I want you to rewrite this. And how will you rewrite if I have to say increase employee engagement? But if I have to make it SMART, conduct 2 employee surveys and increase engagement score by 10% within 6 months or 1 year. So does it have all the criteria of a SMART goal? It's specific, it's measurable, right? It's realistic, it's attainable, timely. So you can see that, you can make out everything is there as per the SMART. So likewise, I want you all to write, reduce customer complaints by 15% in the next 6 months, whether it's a SMART goal or it's not a SMART goal. If it is a SMART goal, good for you. But if it is not SMART, then you will have to rewrite it. Got it? Okay. How much time? 10 minutes? That's it? Yeah. Please. Vilma?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what we need to do is we need to identify whether this is smart or not. If not, then we will have to rewrite this, rephrase this.
Yeah.
So this is not, we cannot measure this increase employee engagement. How can we measure that?
Of course, it is not.
So we can
Right.
write like increase employee engagement score by 10% in next 6 months or 12 months.
But how would you measure that?
Measured by the annual emergency engagement survey. So we have already that kind of language.
So when you're writing, the score also has to be mentioned, employee engagement score, 2, because you would be having
Okay.
something like in the previous
Per
5, 6.
way and
So whatever you want to increase it by, then it becomes specific.
Yes,
If you
yes.
just say increase employee engagement score, it's
So,
not specific,
we
right?
can write 80 to 90%, like. So previous
Yeah.
was 80, so
From the
now
previous
90%.
score, right?
Yeah.
In 6 months.
Smartphone range in coming 6 months.
Next year,
Yeah.
launch new product features. So here, the intent is for next year.
Yes. Then we'll have to mention next financial year or next calendar year, something.
In the top, you have written solution sheet. What does that mean?
Acha, the answer is there in the solution sheet.
Yeah.
So this was already discussed. So this is where we didn't put our efforts in. Improve on time. Is everyone okay with the statement that is there for the product?
Yeah.
Do we also need to quantify the feature that we want? So it may be the
Yeah.
product line and the feature we'll have to quantify. No?
On-time delivery of what is not very clear.
It has to be specific. What is that product also?
Which product they are
Here-
talking about?
So
New
it
product
is
features.
this-
Okay.
So smartphone is something that is being discussed here.
Okay.
So what features we are discussing, so that will have to be quantified. So better touch features. So it can be
Yeah. Yeah. Anything that. So we have mentioned the
You can put a
features as
cost-
well as which
You can
product
put a
they'll
cost
fall
band
into.
of saying two smartphone in the range, one between 10,000 to 15,000, other one between 20 to 25,000.
but is that a
Just
feature?
for the course of discussion. Rather than getting into the specifics of the feature of smartphone, I'm saying just for the
Yes.
point
yes.
of discussion, at least you can have that.
So what is the statement that you are asking us to rephrase?
So I'm saying ki launch two new product, one in the range, price range of 15 to 20,000, other one in the price range of 20 to 25,000. Or you can say to target the entry level section, something of that sort.
But yeah, we are referring to features. We're not referring to a whole new product.
No, but then we have to specify the features. No, what features are we talking about?
Agree with Gargi. We are talking about the existing product features only. New
So
features
the
we want to
way
add
I
on.
guess Divakar was
We want to
mentioning
add
about
on.
touch feature or something,
Yeah.
something like that.
Then it makes sense. Sorry, it's my mistake.
Yeah.
Divakar, you can change that. Sorry. Then price may not work.
So I've only written quantify to be quantified. So
We can just
features.
write touch features or
Touch
camera
features.
clarity or whatever.
So these are the two features. Improve on
So I
time
have a-
delivery to.
Divakar, I have an input here.
Please.
While designing this, we should keep in mind that these KRA are annual KRAs or some short-term project-based KPIs kind of. So if you're talking, if you make it too large, so there will be probability of ambiguity, right? So it should be, when we talk about specifics, so it should be really specific, right?
Here, what I read is it is for next year. So if it is a year-long journey, in that case, you'll have to get into the detailing because you do have that window of 12 months. And you can go layer by layer and say, hey, these are the two features. We need to get into research. We need to do these all aspects. So most of the goals I understand are for long term, 6 months, 12 months. So.
Okay, so just look at this perspective. So when you're writing this, launch two product features, touch camera features in the smartphone range next FY. So here it's good that you are specifying, but I feel it's not essential to write these touch camera features because these are dynamic things, dynamic features, and as technology changes, so the feature may get changed or depending upon the customer requirement feedback. Or what I mean to say specifically is when I talk about a specific, it should be really, really not too specific कि फिर वो कहीं pointed out हो जाए.
Yeah, but the way goals get cascaded, let's assume that this is a smartphone company. In a smartphone company, there's a product team. The product team will have specialists. There will be a team which is working on excellence in camera. There will be a team which is working on touch features. There'll be a team which is working on audio and sound. So which direction are we going? While research can happen in all the areas and windows, but the bug will have to stop somewhere, right? So from just keeping that in mind, that okay, where is it going to stop? We can't go haywire saying कि हमको कुछ launch
Can
करना
I
है.
can I intervene to
So
help you all and also to save
yes,
time? Okay.
yes,
So launch new product features next year. Obviously, it is not a smart goal at all. If I give it to Gargi and say, hey, you have to do this, she will say, when do I do? How do I do? What I do? Okay. So typically, if you want to reframe this, when do you do launching of product features? Based on some research. And where does that research come from? Based on customer feedback. So it becomes very precise in the sense that you are launching two new product features within 6 months or within 1 year, okay, based on the customer feedback. You will do something, but the customer has actually not given any kind of a suggestions, etc. So you have to close loop it. So now what will happen? So you are also telling the product team, because it is a goal for the product team, product features, that hey, this is what you have to do within the next 6 months or within the 1 year based on the customer feedback. That becomes a smart goal then for innovation and creativity. All right. Okay. KK, you have any thoughts on this?
No, ठीक है, I think fair enough.
Huh?
That's what I mean to say कि because if you specify touch or camera or whatever, or and the numbers are specific, so what will happen कि because it's a changing thing, a dynamic thing. So it's better to write customer choices or
Absolutely.
top
Feedback.
choices
Huh?
kind of
Yeah.
to
All right.
to reduce the ambiguity. That was
Sure.
my point.
Sure. Absolutely.
so ma'am, in terms of mentioning, is it okay, like when we are doing smart goals or we are discussing in the organization, is it okay to go razor specific and say within features touch पे काम करना है, camera पे काम करना है, or usually would you advise to refrain from getting into specifics?
It depends on the role. No, if you're working on a camera or touch, so it all depends on what is your role. You have a role. You are a product
Yes,
manager or you are
yes,
a product executive. You have a job description. You would be working on a certain thing, right? This is
precisely.
just generic to understand. But when I go into specific goal setting, like for example, you are a recruitment lead, then you have a certain job description. Then I will
Yes,
try to give you what is it, your smart goal based on what you do. Got it?
yes. The
Yeah.
specifics are required. Perfect. Makes sense.
This is, I mean, just to differentiate between what is a statement and what is a smart goal. Okay?
Makes
Yeah.
sense, ma'am.
Hey guys, quick. Huh?
Improve on time delivery to this is smart, I guess. Yeah. This is
Don't say
not.
guess.
This is
Voluntary
not.
turnover.
Reduce voluntary turnover in sales team. I guess yeah, we'll have to put that percentage thing. Reduce voluntary turnover by 20% in the next.
So we need
whatever
to
months.
also have what has been the trend or the history from where we need
Yeah.
to bring it down. So by
Reduce
2%
voluntary
from last
turnover
year.
from 30% to 20% in the next financial year or 6
Comparing
months.
to previous one.
Yes.
Improve appraisal completion. So what can be an improvised version of this?
So you can write here, not improve. Left it. So you can write.
Okay.
So you can put a percentage there.
There has to be a
Percentage and timeline.
So
So
again,
improve
we need to
performance
understand that
appraisal
last year
completion rate by
90% participated. This year we want this to be 95%.
yeah, we
You
can
can
put
improve
that.
The way we
performance
did for
appraisal
last year.
completion
ठीक
rate
है,
to
write
100%.
it across.
From 90 to 100% or whatever within or by, maybe not within, by 30th April.
So specific, measurable. 10 employees. So I don't
No.
think so we'll be able to do it in 2 minutes.
No.
Yeah,
So
you do.
same thing we need to put here also.
Train
Conduct exit interview.
software developers.
Ensure training. चलो ठीक है, वैसे write.
Say train
ठीक है,
software developers
Specific training.
for 2 days, 2-man days. Just write train 40%.
टाइम नहीं है घर की.
Why 2-man days?
Anything ठीक है, मतलब the concept is clear to
You
us.
understood, no? What is to be done?
Yes.
Like that. Launch new product features in Q3. Okay, as per the customer, based on the customer feedback, right?
Okay.
Yes, no. Reduce voluntary turnover in sales team. So reduce voluntary attrition from 10 to 5%. Great. Next 12 months. Okay. Then improve performance appraisal. Obviously, improve performance appraisal completion rate. Improve performance appraisal completion rate from 90 to 100% in this. Okay, PMS cycle. Okay. Train employees. Training hours. Improve
and
it
like
from
that.
train employees. So training hours improve from 30 hours to 40 hours in a month. All right. So what will be the initiative? I'm just asking. If you were to have this kind of a thing, obviously you may have to use LMS and all that, right? Huh?
Yes. So online training we
I'm
are
just
discussing
trying
for
to
the
tell
online.
you. Huh?
Yes.
Implement a new HRIS system. Go live with new HRIS system by the
In
end of
quarter
Q4.
four.
Okay, fine. Conduct exit interviews regularly. 100% exit interviews before employees exit. Before employee exit must be completed within 7 days of resignation. So 100% of exit interviews within 7 days of resignations. That could be very, hello?
Yeah.
Good
Thank you,
job, right? Can you, Divakar Singh, right? You want to share?
Although we have not been able to conclude the entire sheet,
Yeah,
but yes,
it's
this is
okay.
what we
It's
came
okay.
up with. Hire
No
better people
problem.
is not a
Reduce,
smart goal.
uh,
So this is where we are now. So hire
hire 5
five
software developers with 5 to 7 years of experience in the next 3 months and reduce early attrition by 10%. So there are actually 2 SMART goals in this, right? One is attrition, one is recruitment also. So probably we should not have multiple goals in one goal only, no? Okay. That's one.
What do you
feedback.
advise? So
So
the second one has
hire
to be another.
5 software developers with 5 to 7 years of experience in the next 3 months, right?
Right now.
In 3 months. Or if you want to have just for attrition, supposing you are an HRBP person, attrition goal. So reduce early attrition. Early attrition is what, 0 to 3 months or 0 to 6 months? That also has to be defined, because I may think early attrition is something, you may think something else. So it has to be standardized, right?
Right.
So what is early attrition? By 10%. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Then launch 2 new products, based on customer feedback. Good. Reduce voluntary turn 30 to 20% in the next FI. Good. Improve completion rate. Improve performance appraisal
Performance appraisal
completion
from
rate.
participation. This is participation.
This is वो जो process है. Typically he is saying improve performance appraisal completion. Means that process of so you have taken improve PA appraisal from 90% to 95% participation by 30th April. Typically, you can't have 95%. No, you have to have 100% because otherwise, how will you reward?
Yes, ma'am.
Huh? What will you do to those 5% people? How will you base their increments or the rewards or recognitions? Huh? There is no negotiation on that, right?
Yes.
As an HR head, I won't allow it. Huh?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Huh? 100% should be there. Completion. Huh?
Otherwise,
Train.
we will get less increment.
Yeah, no, the guy who's doing it, he will get less increment. Huh? Train 40% software developers for 2 man days by quarter 2. Okay, fine. Okay. So, okay. If you can just stop sharing, I'll show you this. I'll just share the solution also just for the, it might interest you. So, hire better people. So, this looked upon 2 ways. You can do it as a recruitment goal. You can also do it as an attrition goal. So reduce new hire turnover by 20% in 9 months. So it has a time frame by how much? Through improved selection and onboarding. So what selection and onboarding improved will be an initiative. And the target is how much? Target will be what? What will be the target?
It's turnover
20%.
20%.
turnover rate is
Time is 9 months.
yeah. Yeah.
Got it?
Yeah.
I hope you're there. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So launch new product features. Launch 3 new product features by quarter 3 based on customer feedback. So it has what? Time frame. Okay. It has how many? Huh? It has a measure. Then this is a SMART goal. Reduce voluntary turnover in sales team by 15% in 12 months through engagement initiatives. Got it? Clear? Then train employees. Deliver 10 hours of training per employee on compliance and skill development by quarter 4. Complete implementation of HRIS system across all departments by quarter 3 with 100% user training. ये थोड़ी कि आपने HRIS system on कर दिया, but people have not been given training, then what will happen? They'll only have the technology there, but people won't be able to use it. So user training is also important, right? Huh?
Yes.
So are you only interested in uploading the HRIS software or are we also interested in people to use it? So user training. Okay. Then conduct exit interviews. So achieve 90% completion rate of exit interviews for all resigning employees within 1 week of exits over next 6 months. Okay. All right. All clear? All right. Okay. So we looked at essentially what is performance management. We looked at the cycle. We looked at the cycle consists of 4 key elements: planning, monitoring, reviewing, and rewarding. Okay. Having said that, okay, essentially you have the system to perform. Now, what are some of the key reasons for employees underperforming? Anybody? Quick. What are some of the key reasons for employees underperforming?
Not
Lack
having
Goals are
those
not
skills.
clear.
Lack of
Goals are not clear.
Absolutely. Roles are not clear. Then
Motivation.
lack of
Gap in the skill set. What is required and what is actually to be delivered.
gap in the skill set. Absolutely. But what your role is, I'm not sufficiently rewarded. I'm underpaid. Huh?
Yes.
That also is one of the reasons. I mean, I'm a very good, I'm highly skilled, but then I'm not sufficiently paid. So why should I work? I'll underperform. Okay, then
Sometimes role is not aligned with his skill, his or her skill.
I'm very good. I'm not I'm very good at certain things, but then there's a mismatch between the role and the person. Okay, great. Anyone?
Ma'am, one big reason that I notice is the bell curve method because of that bell curve, people because if they are not getting high rated, they feel like that they should be falling in the 4 or 5, but because of the bell curve, they come to the 3. and then it becomes a demotivation for them, to perform. So
So the
that is
point you're
one
trying to make
belt of
is it is the performance management evaluation system or the
correct,
rating system
correct,
which makes them demotivated because they have been
correct,
force fitted. The
correct.
forcing rate from 4 to 3 or 5 to 4 has made them demotivated.
Yeah.
Okay. So quickly, without wasting time, let us just look at some of the general reasons. Somebody said lack of skills. Absolutely. Right. So you need to then upskill them, train them, etc. Expectations, vague expectations, no clarity in expectations. If I have no clarity on what Divakar should perform, what is that I expect from Divakar, then how is he going to perform, right? It can't be ambiguous. It can't be very vague. Okay. Then job dissatisfaction, but that could be many reasons. Less salary, a lot of things, right? Not motivated enough. The job doesn't really motivate me, that kind. Then culture fit. I came from Google and I'm working for another company where, the culture is so different. No, culture fit. Then stressful environment. That also could make people underperform. Then very common bad manager relationship. My boss is not a good manager. So I'm not able to perform. Does it happen with any of you? Huh? There is one common reason. People don't live because of organizations. People live because of
Bad management.
bad managers. Huh? So, Parishad, such hai. Okay. In fact, when we do attrition analysis, we will ensure that, hey, under which boss people are leaving, then we start giving some training to that person under whom the attrition is very, very high. Okay. So, in fact, even in HR analytics, we say customer care executives perform better, not based on their own skills, but based on the warmth and the coaching and the feedback given by the supervisors. Okay. Then I'm a person who likes innovation, creativity. I like variety, but there is no variety. 3 months ke baad I will say, hey, the job is so monotonous. Like somebody said, no, he can perform well, but maza nahi aa raha. Ek kya hai, same job, monotonous. No. Then absolutely, a lot many times we also do all that analytics in terms of onboarding. People who are not boarded well and they already get disillusioned. What kind of an organization is this? So branding is very important. What branding we are calling it? Employer branding. And in employer branding, we are taking care of onboarding as well. We also do a survey there. How will you receive? What do you think of it? So that we don't want people 0 to 3 early attrition, right? Then, of course, personal issues. So, and then you can always look at, identify the reasons for why is the employee not performing, and then see how you can deal with them. Okay. So how to manage underperforming employees, guys? I want you all to go through the slide because I want to take more time explaining the balanced scorecard. This is just a qualitative slide, which is very, very easy. That is, how do you actually, manage these underperforming employees? That means you have to recognize what's the problem with them, then understand the causes, okay? And then look at it if it is it job expectations or something else, and then deal with it. Okay. I'm skipping. I'm not getting into detail. All right. Okay. Here also the challenges, no, there are many times there are certain challenges, okay, that the performance management system itself is not very, very efficient, okay. That also could be one of the reasons for underperforming of employees. So how do you overcome them? One is, obviously, if you don't have, your goal setting has to be very, very clear, smart goals, etc. Because if employees know what they need to achieve, how, what, etc., then they're able to achieve it better. Then feedback is very, very important. It has to be frequent. Okay. And in fact, you have to train managers in how to give feedback. Then even evaluations. Is your rating okay? Is there a standardized criteria? So you have to look at the rating skills. Then you also have to modernize your management tools. Like, for example, most of the traditional tools, why do they actually fail? Because they are not at all flexible, they are costly. So you need to look at upgradation of those tools so that you get real-time feedback. Today, in today's times, real-time feedback is becoming very, very important, especially in ITS organizations, because response time, because what happens, that impacts the customer, that impacts the customer service, impacts the customer feedback. Not like manufacturing organization कि अभी आपने problem आई 3 months के बाद में feedback दिया. So that is not really relevant in today's times. So even evaluation metrics have to be very customizable. Then you also have to look at employee engagement in terms of are they disconnected? Are they really highly engaged? That also helps a lot in the performing, employees performing. And performance management becomes very, very, if your employee engagement scores are very low and people are not really engaged, then what will happen? Your productivity will take a hit, or will it boost? Anybody?
Obviously, will take a hit,
Going to
ma'am.
reduce.
If I have 100 people and 80% of the people are disengaged, फिर क्या होगा? Obviously,
Productivity is going to reduce.
people, it will take a plunge, underperform. No, so I have to ensure, and that is why it becomes very, very important in today's time, taking an engagement survey. Hey, and in engagement survey also there is a question in terms of, are you very clear about your job? Are you very clear about your goal sets? Are you very happy with your salary? All these things are also there, right? So that you can make some course corrections. Okay. Yeah. Communication becomes very, yeah.
I
Somebody
have a
wants to say.
question here. So for
This
the
is
employment
Yogesh. Yeah.
for the employee engagement survey, because what I have noticed is, in fact, most of the time, what happens, we do not, being an HR, we do not get an information that employees engage or not. So that, let's say if we are conducting employee engagement survey, right? And some of the people take their heart out and mention everything, whatever that whatever challenges that they are facing. But there are some high performer who are on silos, and slowly and gradually their performance is decreasing. So how frequently that we need to do this employment engagement survey, plus any connect that we need to do with the employee to understand whether, if, let's say, if we notice that the performance is going down and we are connecting with the employee. So how frequently that we need to do? Because in our organization, the employee engagement survey is happening, twice in a year, in every 6 months. So is it sufficient, or what should be the,
There are two things here you asked me, because obviously employee engagement, and if your high performers are impacting performance, there are two things, and it definitely impacts productivity.
Yeah.
Employee engagement survey gives you an indication. It's a score. You can't actually say Divakar is not performing, right?
Correct.
Because you can definitely bring it down to scores department wise also you will get. So at least you can also locate which department score is high, which department score is low. To that extent, you can do the analysis when you're doing an engagement survey. And also again, coming down, you can also look at, what grades and all, because you mentioned the grade. It's only anonymous to the extent of name. Otherwise, you will mention department and also grade. So that also you can get. Okay. So, for example, consistently you are getting for a department maybe that good score. But you are seeing that this department has, in terms of productivity, is not doing well. Because you can always do correlation.
Yeah.
Engagement score is high, then typically even productivity, you're assuming a hypothesis you are making, saying that performance has to go up. But there is no correlation. Then what will you do? You'll have to do another check. That's not good enough. No, typically it has to go up, but it is not that there is no correlation between. Agar I'm very happy, my performance also should go up. But in general, it's not going up. Then you will also look at, hey, these high performers typically who are doing well, but why is it dipping suddenly?
Yeah.
Red flag. No? Typically, what will you do, HRBP person? You'll have traffic lights, no?
Yeah.
You'll not bother about it. You'll only bother about 80-20 Pareto principle. You'll look at your high performers and do the traffic light, saying that, hey, how if they are doing very well, green, 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 but suddenly they are dipping red aa gaya, Q, and consist for some time. Why? Then you will look at other indicators. Absenteeism bhi hai kya? Are they taking too many breaks? Are they taking? So you will look at, are they in the media, too much social media? There could be some reason, no? They're actually wanting to change over. They're not happy with the promotion. They're not happy with the salary. Then that becomes a big question mark, a red flag for you to then to those people. Talk to that person. Are you
Yeah.
with me, Yogesh? No?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because survey will not give you, you can't identify who are those people. It will give you a
Yeah.
general indication only. But then you'll have to look at your 80-20 principle. Suddenly, hey, there was a consistent high performance. And why is it suddenly plunging down? So, underperformer, you're not bothered because otherwise you will say, okay, fine. Usko jaane do. You don't
Yeah.
want to waste your effort on him. Okay? You want to only retain your high performers. Clear, Yogesh?
Yeah.
Huh? Okay. Others? Any questions with respect to Yogesh's, any extension of that question? Okay, done. Vivek?
Yes,
Vivek
ma'am.
or Nitesh? Huh?
Yes.
No,
Okay?
no. It's okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So typically, then overemphasis on quantitative metrics is something typically most of the organizations will do. Like somebody, even Yogesh asked, what is that rating scale 1 to 5? You are wanting to force fit. Sorry, what is force fitting or normalization? That you have people who are really doing good and the business has given 5. So, but you will say according to the what bell curve normalization, you will say no, I can't have more than 10 or 15% of the people in 5 rating. So if you have given also, please pull them back and put in 4. So there are certain apportioned. So you will put most of them 60% in 3 or 65%. But in today's times, people are moving it from bell curve because it is rather than motivating people, it is demotivating people. And especially IT organizations. You can't afford to recruit talent because it's so expensive. Recruitment, if
That's
you have
correct.
to rehire, it's so expensive. Why not
Yeah.
keep your people who are high in demand and less in supply? So ensure that's what they have moved away. They just have 1 to 3, I think, in fact most of the organizations. Okay, so they have moved away from the normalization curve. Because if you are doing, see, like for example, Google, huh? I'm
But
getting
this
the
still,
best.
so
Yeah, somebody.
yeah, ma'am, I have a follow-up question to that.
Uh, uh,
So let's say, because if organization is moving out of the bell curve, right?
hmm.
So when we are running this PMS cycle and we have a certain budget defined, right? So in during this should be the merit percentage, this should be the non-merit percentage, and you will have to close that. And let's say if we do not follow the bell curve, right? Then how would we achieve? Because most of the time manager comes and saying that, oh no, all of these people are fine, right? If we do not have this bell curve in place, then what can be the option for us other than bell curve then?
My question to you is, say for example, you're in Google. I'm just giving an example. In Google, you take the best of the people, because if you want one engineer, you look at so many people and he gets paid how many times? 10 times, 15 times more than any other ordinary engineer. Now, if you're using a bell curve and then you make him actually a non-performer, you think is there a rationale there?
No, it is not. But the
Well, first
problem
of all,
is,
you're getting the best talent, huh?
then being HR, the budget comes into the picture because we will have to fit in to that budget because we get this much of the hike percentage or the merit percentage that is assigned to you. Under
Right.
this, you will have to fit all these people in. Then how, if we are not following the bell curve, then how can we achieve that merit
So most
percentage
of
that
the
is?
organizations have made, see, there is no just only by the bell curve. So in a total reward scheme, what they have done is they have increased the percentage of variable pay. At the end of it, what is it? You want to give more to the employee, no?
Yes, then we also tried that, but the problem is because especially when the Gen Z is coming into the picture, because now we are working with the Gen Zs, right? So they more, in fact, not with Gen Z, with millennials too. So performance variable is something where people think, okay, this is the part that I'm not able to get it. Definitely, it will, some of the people think, okay, it is coming, it will be coming yearly basis or quarterly basis, whatever it is. But
Right.
most of the time they think, variable thing is, it is variable. It totally depends on the company's discussion. But a fix is something which is coming to
Guaranteed.
me.
Okay.
Yeah, that is
So,
guaranteed.
so like say for example,
Ma'am, ma'am,
Mahindra Tech. Yeah. Yeah, Vivek, tell me.
then create a culture for PLI positive, so they will get, if they will perform, then they will get. So create a culture in the organization, and that is also the duty of HR and leadership team.
So, but sometimes what happens? Yeah, culture is not created in one day, right? Culture takes a long time. So, for
Yeah.
example, the reward and recognition in terms of yes, people you want to attract, retain talent, and the question of Yogesh. So, if I can't use a bell curve, people, if I use a bell curve, people are demotivated because I have to fit them, and there is a certain budget. So, organizations like Mahindra, Infosys, what they have done is they have stopped from 1 to 5 rating scale. They only have broad ranges now. Okay, now they are not saying, hey, he's an underperformer, something. They have broad ranges. Okay, and they are fitting people in that range. This is like a broad banding. I don't know if you've heard of broad banding in compensation. We call it as broad
Compensation.
banding.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
the sense, range. The range is very, very wide. Min and max very wide. So I can fit him anywhere. But in a narrow banding, what happens? The range is very small. That means, I have to then push him to upstairs. Likewise, even in what I meant to say is the performance management evaluation, they're keeping a broad kind of a range wherein people are not getting impacted. Okay.
A
Yes,
question on
Dipesh.
this.
Yeah.
Uh,
So,
Ma'am,
ma'am,
so in terms of rating, when you're saying that, Mahindra Tech or other companies who have adopted this broadbanding, is it just at the front end or is it also something at back end? Because a lot of times what I've heard or I've seen is that while
good
at front
question.
end they give this whole, we have positioned it as broadbanding, but when it comes to back calculation, it again boils down to the 4 rater or a 5 rater. Also, in this case, how is talent and succession planning looked at? Because the end of the day, one of the resultant of performance management is also talent identification.
I would like to pitch in here, just to clarify. I used this concept in my last organization. We never rated and compensated people based on the rating. Okay, rating was done for every individual. Okay, in the scale of say 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever was, or 1, 2,
Just
brought
coming to
it
that.
we
Yeah.
brought it down to 1, 2, 3. But largely we looked at what ma'am was talking is largely we looked at the band where the person is, and our concept was 90 maximum people should move to the 90th percentile. Only outperformer should be on the band of in a compa ratio of more than 1. And if somebody crosses the compa ratio of more than 1, then he has to be a very good performer and he should be moving up into the next band. Otherwise, he'll continue to be paid in the same bracket. Okay. So that is how we did it. And it was widely accepted because maximum people were getting compensated. And when it comes to compensation, based on his performance, it is decided how will I compensate him? How fast I want him to move to the 90th percentile? If he's a good performer, his compensation will be more so that he moves faster to the 90th percentile. If he's not a good performer, then the compensation would be range will be less, so that he takes more time to move to that percentile. So people know largely they have been paid based on that, and they have been placed based on their competence in that particular salary band or level.
Thank you, Vinod. Thank you so much. So you brought in the new concept, which I was wanting to tell you. So today, in most of the organizations, especially in IT, where what was yesterday is obsolete today, and talent is really, there are talent wars and talent is short of. So you can't really afford to lose people. So here they have delinked the entire thing, and they have started having like the band of percentile comp ratios. Okay, so I may be having a person who's having many years of experience. Obviously, in a particular grade, his comp ratio will be higher. So depending on his performance, I would be then rewarding him a, a certain a lower percentage. But there's another person who's doing the same job, who's equally competent. But only thing is, he actually is at a lesser comp ratio. He will get a higher increment. I don't know if you are able to get that. Huh? There are two people, Yogesh and Vinod. Vinod is a very tenured person, and Yogesh is a less experienced person. Both of them are in the same grade. Both of them are the same grade. Both of them have performed equally well, competently. Now, Vinod is at a higher comp ratio. What does it mean? In that range, he's at a higher salary already. The base is very high. Yogesh is at a lesser comp ratio. That means, he is at a lesser base salary in that range. Comp ratio is nothing but it's a ratio. When I say comp ratio, it's a ratio. Okay, that ratio is calculated during increments for every employee department wise. How is it calculated? By your base salary divided by the midpoint of that range. That's called comp ratio. So everybody has a comp ratio then. Then you will say, hey, these people, both the people, because what happens? Then it is inequity. It is not fair that I'm paying, high to somebody, but both of them are doing the same job. So Vinod will get a lesser percentage and Yogesh will get a higher percentage of increment.
So, ma'am, I understood that concept, and
Yeah.
we also kind of always link, while of course what Vinod was referring to was independently compensation, but we always do the benchmarking and try to align it as per the ratios. However, I'm coming back to the same question I'd asked earlier. When you look at the front end and the back end, is the back end exactly reflective of the front end, that it's a broad-based spanning system? Second, how does it culminate when you're dealing with large organizations, when you're looking at talent mapping, succession planning? How are those angles looked at? Because one of the anchors usually, even in the inverted L, is the performance and potential. So performance comes into picture. So that's where my question was.
So the two aspects you talked about, the front end and the back end. People working in the front end and people working in the back end. So essentially what happens, you look at every role. So the back end, the people who fill in the back end roles will have different kind of qualifications, experience, etc. Correct?
I'm asking about the treatment of this. So I in my one of my erstwhile organizations, while to make it come across more appealing, we had done a 8 scalar at the front end, but when it translated at the back end, it was a 5 scalar only. It was just a high, medium, low within the middle range.
Okay,
But
got it.
at the front
So
end,
how is this done? This is done based on what I would actually call it as the complexity of the job. Are you getting me? What we call it as the complexity of the job. For example, at the lower level, I'll give a very easy example for you. Say, for example, in a manufacturing organization, shop floor level, I will just have 3 levels, 1, 2, 3, because the job complexity is not much. Okay, so if the job complexity is not much, and I will give a rating scale of 5 or 7, 1 to 7, 1 to 5, do you think it will be appropriate? It won't be appropriate because the job complexity is not there. As the job goes up, as you keep growing up the hierarchy, the requirement for the skills becomes a little less, but the requirement for behavioral competencies become more.
The impact
Like, for
of
example,
the
a
job
leadership.
decision is very important.
Leadership. Okay, it becomes more. So based on that, as you said, front end and back end. So the back end, the job, what does the job entail? So your rating scale should be depending on if that is the cluster. So when we do actually the total reward scheme, we actually categorize jobs, saying that the front end jobs will have a different salary structure also sometimes. For example, simple, again, another call center and product development. Both of them are there in an organization. But can I club salary structure of call center people and product development people? No, I'll have different structures. So different rating scales. Similarly, back end job is different, front end job is different.
Hmm.
So it all depends on the kind of job it is. But I'm not going to create a rating scale for just one level of jobs. I will have a job family.
Yes.
You getting me?
I
So
put
that
that in
job
this. I
family
put
can
it in
have
the chat, ma'am.
2 or 3 levels. Got it?
Right.
I
Because
put those
yeah,
three points on the chat. It is know-how, problem solving, and accountability.
yeah, that's
That
the
comes to
foundation
the
of
job site.
JE.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Exactly.
So, yeah. No, I was just looking at, 5-rater scale, 8-rater scale, 8-rater scale translated in 5-rater at the back end. So while at the front end, we talk to the managers and everyone, be it a front end role or back end role, we are saying to showcase to the employees that it's a 5-rater scale, and then back end pe hum calculation karte waqt we have a bifurcation. So got it.
Depending on the requirement of skills, based on the knowledge, problem solving, accountability,
Gargi,
whatever.
another factor.
Okay, it's lower and higher, complex and simpler. All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
So
Gargi,
JE
another factor
fundamental.
we need to look in
discussion a
is
little later because I'm actually running short of time, if you don't mind. Okay.
Yes,
Sorry,
sure.
Vinod. I'm so sorry for it because I'm actually wanting to do the balanced scorecard. So I'm not touching upon the softwares. Typically, you have these softwares which you can use. Today, mostly people are using Workday, SAP Success Factors, People Strong also, Bamboo HR to certain extent, wherever you want to use the tools. All right. Okay. Now, so when we talk about strategic performance management, ultimately, what is the differentiation between just a performance management and a strategic? Alignment, integration, alignment, integration. How do you get this alignment? What is alignment? Okay. So this tool, which is a management tool, okay, it is not a reporting tool, it's a management tool which manages. So Balanced Scorecard is a tool which helps you to manage, which helps you to measure, which helps you to track as well. So what does it have? First of all, let me just show you the figure. Fundamentally, the Balanced Scorecard has 4 perspectives. See, what used to happen traditionally, we were actually focusing on what kind of results? Financial results. Traditionally, we were looking at, hey, how did the organization perform? Yes, it performed very well. And what did you look at? What was the standard? What was the standard? What's the revenue? What's the profit? So there was a leaning towards only the financial metrics. But then if you notice, as we evolved from the industrial to the information age, etc., if you notice, even when you are evaluating a company to sell, etc., your tangible, it is not only the tangible assets, but today you are looking at intangible assets as well, right? So, therefore, so Norton and Kaplan, they created this scorecards, as they say, scorecard, report card, which says, hey, an organization success, just looking at financial figures is not enough. How do you actually measure financial figures? Profit? What else? Revenue? EBITDA? Anything else? Guys, all of you, what are the metrics you typically look at when you are looking at the financial perspective?
Top line, PBT, like that.
Top line, bottom line,
PBT,
profits,
PBT amount.
EBITDA, right? Absolutely.
Cost
EV.
saving.
So all
Cost
these
saving.
are. So what did Norton and Kaplan say, he said, hey, we have to look at the other perspectives. Now he gave us 4 perspectives. What are those 4 perspectives? Financial, customer, internal business processes, learning and growth. Very key. In this balanced scorecard, you have 4 perspectives. He says we need to have measures on all the 4 perspectives. Now, interestingly, the name is called balanced scorecard. That means it balances. If anybody is familiar with it, it balances. What does it balance? It balances financial and customer perspectives with internal business and L&D, learning and growth. Financial and customer are also what? Outcomes. They're also lag indicators. Means you got to do something, then you get results. Okay. And the internal business and learning and growth perspective are called performance drivers. That means, like for example, when you train people, they are able to work well in the processes. Then they are able to satisfy the customers. And when you have many customers, then you will get results. Are you seeing it? So what does it mean? That unless and until these are the lead indicators, which one? Learning and growth and internal business processes. So unless and until the lead indicators perform, you cannot have results. But if you don't have lag indicators, you are just performing, but you do not know whether you are aligned to the top objective, your strategic intent or your strategic goals. Now, if you see this picture, vision and strategy are in the middle and all these are there. Can anybody just tell me, translate it, looking at this visual, vision and strategy here, what does it mean?
So vision and strategy essentially mean simple, the business goal objective,
So
what to
as
be
you see
achieved.
this,
Unless all 4 quadrants perform, then only this will be achieved.
so when you see this, it says, hey, vision and strategy guide. So your objectives, your measures, your targets, and your initiatives all are derived. This is the guiding factor. Are you with me? Your strategy and your vision are the guiding factor to derive your other perspectives, objectives. So if I just show you this now. So how do you derive those perspectives, objectives? You start with vision, values, because vision means why we exist. Vision is where you want to be in the future. Values are those guiding principles, how you need to behave, take decisions, etc. Then you create a strategy. Strategy is nothing but a game plan, right? Based on the strategy, then you create your balanced scorecard. Are you with me? Then you create your balanced scorecard. Okay. This is just to elaborate that mission, why we exist, values, they are your guiding principles. Every organization has values, right? How do we need to behave? How are you taking decisions? And vision. Say, for example, what could be your vision? Anybody in your organization? What is your, let us talk about anybody who can say for their organization, what is their mission? Anybody? Divakar, what is your organization's mission?
To be a leading
Any
steel
clue?
producer, if I talk about my last company, by year 2030. So this is what.
So that becomes a vision actually.
Yeah.
Leading, Anybody who wants to give a mission statement of their organization?
Customer success is for us.
Pardon?
Customer success is for us.
Okay. So why we exist? Because customer. So why we exist? So that gives you a purpose, mission. And vision is where you really want to be. And then based on your vision values, you derive your strategy. Okay. Now, when I talk about a balanced scorecard, it is a communication tool, it is a measurement tool, it is a strategic management system. Why do you say so? Because when you create, let me just go to the scorecard. When you create the scorecard, from where is it derived? It is derived from your vision, mission, and strategy. If I show you this earlier one, okay? This gives you that strategic goals and objectives for your four perspectives. And if you achieve them, then what happens? You will have satisfied shareholders, delighted customers, effective processes, and motivated workforce. Now, how do we do it? It's a very interesting thing, this one. I'm putting it in a very simple way so that all of you can understand it. Okay. So the balanced scorecard has four perspectives. What are they? Financial perspective, customer perspective, internal business processes perspective, and learning and growth. Now, under every perspective, you are deriving, what are we deriving? Objectives, strategic objectives, measures, targets, and initiatives. I've given a very simple way. Yep. Okay. When I said it's a measurement, so first of all, you are creating at a corporate level, at an organization level, a balanced scorecard. What will you say? Hey, these are my four perspectives. Now, what are some of the objectives at a financial from the financial perspective side? Okay. What are some of the objectives from the customer perspective, from the internal business processes, learning and growth? Financial perspective and customer perspective are called what? Outcomes, lag indicators. Internal business processes and L&D are called lead indicators. These help you to achieve this. So when we talk about financial perspective, I told you what could be some of the metrics? ROCE, EBITDA, etc. What are the metrics for customer perspective? Quick.
Customer satisfaction,
Market share,
NPS
right?
score.
Market share, number of products, number of customers, etc. For internal business processes, means all your
SOP policies and all.
in your organization, production process, marketing, sales and marketing, HR, right? Supply chain, etc. Learning and growth would be talking about what? All the human capital required, the technology, etc. Now, the very interesting fact about balanced scorecard is saying that, hey, if I'm going to measure an organization only from this profit, operating margins, revenue, etc., that will not tell me how am I doing in an organization. Only when I know that from all the four aspects, if I know how am I doing, then I will know, I can track and I will know that, yes, I'm going to achieve these results. So when I talk about learning and growth, it is all about what kind of people I require, what kind of a culture I need, what kind of organization capital, what kind of a technology I need to run these processes. Internal business processes are all those processes in which I must excel to achieve customers' needs. And if I achieve all the customers' needs and I'm able to get their loyalty, increase market share, obviously I will get my profits, I will get my revenue. Got it? The logic behind this four perspectives. Have you got the logic, please? Huh?
Yes,
Now,
ma'am.
you can't have a balanced scorecard, just copy it, because every organization's vision, mission, values are very, very different. Okay. So first of all, when you are creating a balanced scorecard, what you need to do? At a corporate level, you have to establish or derive what are those objectives I want to, strategic objectives I want to achieve in those four perspectives. Step one. Have you understood this?
Yeah.
Say, for example, I'll say, hey, My strategic intent in the financial perspective is that I want to increase profitability by 10% this year. Okay. So how will I, the customer perspective is improve retention by 20%. Customer retention. And then means I have to improve product quality. Then in the learning and growth, that means I have to improve production employee skills so that, I can improve how can I improve product quality? Only if my people are trained and they are able to produce better quality. Are you with me now? Having
Yes,
said
ma'am.
that,
Ma'am,
having
if I could ask, ma'am. So,
yeah,
is the objectives here required to be smart in nature? Is that so?
I'm coming to that. You're jumping the gun.
Acha,
I'm
okay.
just coming to that. I'm sorry. What is the strategic objective? Objective. That means you want to achieve certain thing. Are you with me? A goal is larger. Now, a goal could be customer centricity. A goal could be operational efficiency. Got it? But my strategic objective means I want to achieve this. Now, having said this, every organization, some of you may have heard about it, there is something called value discipline. I will show it to you at a later point in time. There are three kinds of companies. One is operational excellence. For example, Toyota, Maruti, Amazon, of course, has both operational. Means I want to have efficiency where they will focus more on what? Systems, productivity, procedures, efficiencies. Okay. Because, like, for example, Walmart, because their mission statement is also at affordable quality, their prices will be average. Right? The other is product leadership. Can you name any companies who are in product leadership?
Apple.
Google, Apple, huh?
Apple,
iPhone,
Sony.
Apple.
Product leadership.
Apple.
Because my strategic goal will be what? Creativity, innovation. So how will I live that? Obviously, I have to get the best people, innovate. So in my internal business processes, I will have creativity, innovation as one particular thing. So that's how I will focus. There'll be another kind of people who are what? Customer delight. Can you name any company? Customer delight?
Raj.
You said Taj, is it?
Raj. Yeah.
Okay, I give it to you. But have you gone to Starbucks? I'm sure all of you have had coffee in Starbucks, right?
McDonald's
Huh?
and
Yes.
When you are, meeting a friend after a long, long time, you'll say, hey, come, let's go to Starbucks. Let's have coffee. They will ask you, what kind of coffee you want? Will I have to mix in this? Yeah, they'll give you one. They will write everything, spend. That means what? They want to know more about you. What is the flavor? They take time off. And you can sit there, chat. They won't tell you, okay, fine, I'm going to clean. The waiter won't come and clean your table because he wants to push you up. But go to McDonald's, looking at only you have to say, because he will quickly, okay, before you even close your order, he will give it to you. Operational efficiency, operational excellence, time. And you can't sit there for longer time. Are you with me? So your objectives also will differ based on what kind of a value discipline. When I say value discipline, what does it mean? What is the value proposition you are giving to the customer? It's called customer value proposition. What are you promising to the customer? Apple is promising all the time very good features, product development, everything. Okay. McDonald's is promising you good quality at affordable prices. Walmart, affordable prices. Right? Huh? You go to Dell, customer delight. You can actually, assemble your laptop. So, understanding your needs, Starbucks understanding your needs. Based on that, your strategic objectives also will be there because your internal business processes will focus depending on what is the customer value proposition. Now, that is a step one, objectives. Step two, Divakar Singh wanted to know, madam, will it be smart again? Huh? Now, what is the next one? For every objective, if you want to achieve, you need to have a measure, no? If you don't have a measure, you won't manage things. You got to have a measure, no? So, how will you measure profitability? How will you measure customer retention? How will you measure product quality? So, you need to have a key performance indicator. Profitability, it will be gross profit margin percentage, etc. Now, is measure enough? So, my measure is employee engagement score. Is it a measure? Customer satisfaction index. Is it a score? Is it a measure?
Yes, ma'am.
But then you need to have a target for that.
Hmm.
Without a target, you won't know whether you have achieved it or not. So the next is target. Are you with me? The next is target. Now, if you want to achieve this, maybe you need to have some initiative. Like, for example, I will say, hey, in recruitment, supposing my objective is to reduce what? Hiring costs, recruitment costs. Measure will be what? Recruitment costs, right? Target will be by what percentage? Then what will be my initiative? If I'm actually sourcing people from placement guys, I have to actually incur more costs. So maybe I will try out maybe I'll try out social media, my initiative. Maybe I'll try out other ways of looking at things. That will be my initiative to achieve that target. Are you with me? Say, for example, here, customer perspective, the target is increase customer retention rate by 10% in the next year. Okay. So what is the initiative written? Just like I hypothesis, launch a customer loyalty program offering discounts or rewards for repeat purchases. So there should always be some Gargi, yeah. Yes, Gargi, you wanted to say something?
Yes, ma'am, currently we are doing the balance scorecard exercise,
Yeah.
especially for the top brass of our organization. And
Yeah.
one question that I keep getting, and I get a pushback from the leaders, especially these are business heads. They're like, ये जो हमारा KRA KPI है ना, ये आपके balance scorecard में fit ही नहीं होता. You're trying to force feed balance scorecard, but there are so many things that don't fall into financial, customer, process, or learning. Any four of them, they're completely different. What are your thoughts on that, ma'am? Have you ever received this pushback, that you're force feeding something which is a framework, and we do so many things which are not really fitting into the framework? And how do you kind of, handle that?
Typically, what happens when you are implementing a balance scorecard? Essentially, what is it? When you aggregate everything everybody has done, you will achieve your business goals, your strategic goals, right? Huh? Now, lot of them, when you implement, you'll say this doesn't fall into place, this doesn't fall into place, this. But ultimately, when you are looking at an organization as a whole, you are looking at, by and large, you are looking at everything, all the business results, everything. Now, how does that particular goal, okay, KPI is different. That KPI is related to a goal, what he is doing, okay? How is it related to particular any business result where it comes? Is there an alignment there? You need to check it out. Or is it a separate entity altogether? For example, I may be saying, as an HR head, I have to liaison with the PF commissioners, I have to liaison with income tax people, or there is an external stakeholder for me. I'm spending certain amount of time. Can I say that, yeah, I'm doing something else separately, which doesn't really align this? I can't even, but indirectly, doesn't it support activity where either you are reducing certain thing, it indirectly supports. So you need to really check on that, Gargi, because lot of times there'll be a pushback, because ultimately there can't be an employee or a role, especially at a leader's level. Down, nobody will object. They say, hey, this, this is out of my ambit. This is something which is very different. So you need to sit with the other stakeholders, to be honest, and see what is it, because you need to get a buy-in. Otherwise, ultimately, the person will say, no, it is not in that, because every person, no. But frankly speaking, when we were implementing for large organizations like IOC, Mahindra and Mahindra, large organizations, there's nothing you can't say this is out of ambit. Even sometimes CSR is also becoming a part of it. I'm telling you, because you can't say I'm doing something which is out of the,
Yeah. Somewhere you're saying that somewhere when you just drill down and try to funnel it, it will
now
fall
see the
into
drill down.
something.
You will just see. So the next part, the drill down is, so this is your corporate balance scorecard. Then you cascade it down to every business department. And
Ma'am,
then
if
to
you
the
could,
last one, an individual.
ma'am, if you could go back to the last screen, ma'am.
This is just an example. I'll make you do an example right now.
Can
Because
there be more than one financial KPIs or financial perspective? More than one?
they will, obviously, there'll be more objectives also. I just gave it as an example here.
Okay.
You can have, see, there will be financial perspective, there'll be a goal. That strategic goal can have 3-4 strategic objectives. Objectives are more specific. Goal is broader.
So here,
But
if I see by the statement, the organization is wanting to have a profitability increase by 10%, and what they are targeting is a gross profit margin. And gross profit margin, if it goes up by 35%, so they'll be able to have a 10% profitability, for which they are wanting to have some cost saving measures introduced.
so like an initiative is cost saving measures across all departments, such as reducing waste, regenerating supplier contracts, etc., etc. Okay.
Okay. Does it have to do with only the finance function for that company?
No. Are you saying that this objective measure target is only for finance and not for others?
Yes, ma'am.
No, not at
No.
It's operations, procurement, everyone we can. Yeah.
So I want to explain one
So,
example.
Yogesh, just I will clear him up. He has got a very genuine. So, it is like this. Alignment and integration. Why is strategic performance management today very critical and important, and you're using balanced scorecard? Think of these two words, alignment and integration. Okay. Now Diwakar is coming, total reward. He is in the role of a total reward. He is evaluated by just goal silo. No. But when you are looking at a strategic goal, cause you are saying, hey, I need to look at certain budgets, because this is the wage cost, employee cost to turnover. I can't exceed 10% or 12% or 13%, because my peer other companies are within this range. Because if I increase that range, the profit of the company will go down.
Right.
Your goals are aligned with you. In normal performance, what happens? You are assessed by what you have to do in silos. It's simply like this, when you are a part of an orchestra symphony, you have to take into account everybody. Only then that orchestra will play. But otherwise, what happens? Everybody is playing on its own. Does it become an orchestra then? No. So here, you are not looking at just individual performance. There is an alignment between what you do with what the organizations want. Like Gargi was saying, somebody is saying in the leadership, hey, I am doing something. But how can it be different from what the strategic intent of the organization? That is also incorporated in the strategic intent of the organization. Are you with me?
Yes, ma'am.
So it can't be, that I'm doing something which is not aligned with what my strategic intent of the organization is. So first you are creating this corporate balance scorecard under 4 perspectives. Earlier, there was only one financial, the account management accounting system is to be taking place. Itna ban gaya, itna ho gaya, itna. But today, in order to even achieve your financial goals, you have to look at even all the other. So therefore, what is happening? You're creating a balance scorecard which manages, and this gets cascaded down at every level. So it is not just objective measures, targets at one only financial, even for internal business processes. What are those processes we need to excel? This may be a object measure target. This may be a learning and growth. So every perspective has objectives, measures, targets, and initiatives. And where are they derived from? They're all derived from your vision, mission, and strategy. And that's where they're all aligned. I'm not doing something separate from what the mission and strategy is. So if Garge is saying, somebody is saying, they are doing something, hey, but the guiding factor is this. They have to be in this. No? Are you with me? So
Yes,
when
ma'am.
the cascading happens, see, this is cascading. एक और है क्या? Corporate scorecard, and then it looks like this, huh? So I want you all to do a small activity here. So this is what I was explaining, the value discipline for you all. That the focus of an organization depends on what is that you want to give to your customer. It's called customer value proposition. You could be an organization who's into operational excellence, then your focus will be all in what efficiency of your internal business processes. Okay. And if it is product, it will be innovation, creativity. If it is customer intimacy, more in. So supposing I will ask you a question. Supposing I'll say I'm a customer intimate company, in the sense, I like, I will make things based on understanding the customer. What kind of a systems will you have in customer intimacy companies, in internal business processes? When can you be a customer intimate company? What systems will you have?
One example could be Zomato. The way
CRM.
they have leveraged their digital they say, hey, will you have sweets? The moment you kind of scan a sweet, they will keep sending those
So what is
reminders.
that?
And
CRM, no? You are getting all the time feedback from the customer saying, what is it? So customer intimate people will have some kind of a process or a system or a technology which will capture what? Feedback from customers. Because based on the customer's needs, and then I will keep on, reviewing and revising my features, etc. In product leadership, what will be the processes which will be very strong? Quick. In product leadership.
maybe Apple comes to mind because they're very
Yeah,
unique.
but my question is, in the 4 perspectives, in order to give, better features, in order to
Internal
keep,
processes.
Huh?
Internal processes.
no, but which one in internal business process, which?
Product team.
So there will be a product team which will be high on creativity and innovation.
Yes.
So my reward and recognition may be, depending on all those
Disproportionately higher for
milestones
them.
and features, etc. Say, for example, in an operational excellence team, where I'm specifically giving an example of an Amazon or maybe a Walmart, which has a vision statement saying that, provide products at affordable cost and good quality. So what will the focus, the thrust will be? Internal business
Supply
process.
chain. Supply chain.
Exactly. Supply chain.
Supply
Because
chain costing.
I will, are you finding the differentiation now? Because it depends on what am I promising to the customer. I will identify what are those critical processes I need to excel. Maybe I will outsource the rest and I will keep only those processes which I need to excel. Got it? Okay, guys. So I will, so what I want to do is, I want you all to, I'll just give you that 1 second. There's an Excel sheet which is stop sharing. So this is a mixed list. If you can see, this is a mixed list of goals. Okay. Reduce employee turnover by 15% over the next year. Improve average time to fill open positions under 30 days. Conduct quarterly employee engagement surveys. Launch a new company-wide wellness initiative. These are a mixed goal list. What you need to do is, if you can, you need to actually group them, okay, into what? Organizational goals, departmental goals, individual goals, and KPIs. Very interesting activity. You can do it quickly. Maybe you want to make them into groups, Vilma?
Yes, 2 groups.
Start saying reduce employee turnover by 15% over the next year. Is it an organizational goal or a departmental goal or an individual goal or a KPI? So if it is organizational goal, just put OG. If it is a departmental goal, just put DG. If it is an individual goal, you put IG. If it is a KPI, just put KPI. Improve average time to fill open positions to under 30 days. So
It's
you
a
just have
KPI.
to put that. Conduct quarterly employee engagement surveys. So you just have to indicate, is it an OG, DG, IG, or a KPI? Clear?
Yeah.
Is it clear, Yogesh? Huh?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, team. What
This will
about
be
first?
department goal.
Second one is, I think, KPI. Improve average time.
Second, improve average time to fill open position to under 30 days. Yeah.
It's a KPI. Third one is conduct quarterly employee engagement survey. I think it's also,
KPIs are something which can be measured, right?
yeah.
It's a
So
goal. It's a goal. It's a departmental goal.
which one? This one?
Improve average time to fill. It's not
This
KPI,
cannot be
not it's
department
not
goal.
cannot be,
This
but
should be the individual goal, I guess.
individual goal
That's
at
why
least.
I'm
Correct.
asking KPI is also, no? KPI.
Basically, KPI and the difference between goals and KPI is that KPI should be smart.
See,
Here, the
KPI
specific,
is something which can be measured, right? But it
Yeah.
is saying improve average time to fill open position to under 30 days. But how much that needs to be improved, that is not mentioned. So it is not KPI, right? It cannot be
that's
measured.
what. Yeah,
That can
correct.
be the goal.
See,
Now it will be the individual goal, I guess.
Improve average time to fill open position to under.
Because only recruiter can improve that, right? That
Just,
can be the
just do
individual
one
goal.
thing. Just KPI stroke individual goal. We'll go later on that.
Okay.
KPI stroke.
It won't be the KPI for sure. Let's see, IG or DG, I think. It can be
DZ
one
is
of them.
not. IZ or KPI. DZ is not. It's
It cannot be KPI. No, it cannot be measured. But I'm
so
just
you
putting
can
it.
go with the IZ and stroke KPI. We'll discuss later on. Go for the next one. Third one. Conduct quarterly employee engagement surveys. I think
This
it's
will
Departmental
be
a
DG.
team one. Yeah, department goal. I
DG.
am also agree with this. Launch a company-wide wellness initiative by quarter 10. I think it's a organization
OG.
goal.
This is
OG.
KPI.
Organization goal. Fourth one.
OG.
Acha.
Launch a new one. Fourth.
I mean, row number 18. Let us put OG.
Oh yeah, OG. Correct. Active 90%
But
participation
why are you
is
saying?
90.
I'm sorry, I'm cross questioning. But why
Yeah.
do you think it is OG? Because my perspective is it will be the KPI. Launch a new company-wide wellness initiative by Q3. So here we are mentioning one wellness activity that needs to be completed in Q3. are you saying this as this as OZ because company wide is mentioned here? That's why you are
Yogesh,
huh,
KPI is key performance indicator.
Indicators.
Okay. So
correct.
Yeah.
this is not a key performance
Performance
indicator.
indicators.
It is giving an objective.
So it will become
Hmm.
OG.
Okay. It is an objective कि you have to launch 3 wellness programs. So that's the logic here.
Okay.
Next one is achieve 90% participation in mandatory compliance training. I think
KPI.
KPI, I think also KPI. Next,
So asking
what is next? Complete
Complete.
5 hours of personal development by per HR team member per quarter. I think it's an individual.
IG.
let
I,
me let me put a perspective on rule number 19. Achieve 90% participation in mandatory compliance training. So won't it be an individual goal? It is being a goal is being assigned to a person that you have to attend minimum 90% participation
do one
in the
thing,
training.
KPI stroke IG will go next time. So we have a confusion on second time on KPI and IG. Okay.
Yes, it happens.
So next, complete 5 hours of professional development it's an individual goal. Okay, everyone.
Yeah.
Okay,
Correct.
just IG, right? Only IG. Increase internal promotion rate by 20%. I think it's organization goal.
OG.
OG. All well?
Agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maintain an employee engagement score 80%.
Department.
Department, I think, right?
Departmental goal also, and it can lead to KPIs. ठीक है.
So
DG.
department go with DG.
DG.
Hire 50 new employees by the end of Q4. It's a, I think,
KPIs.
individual goal.
KPI
Hey,
specificity है ना. It's a specific.
what I'm saying is, because see, if we read the line number 1, line number 15, reduce employee turnover. If I take that as an OG, suppose.
DG.
No. I'm just saying, just hold. See, I'm saying organization why I have a problem of employee turnover. Suppose I take that as an organizational goal, then increasing internal promotion rate by 20% can be a DG. Because it is to compensate that. How are you improving the employee, development program? How good is your employee development programs? How are you doing your training, IDPs and all that stuff? It is a fallout of that. One
You're
perspective.
talking about this?
Yeah. Rather than putting this as an OG, I think maybe think over it. I think this is an DG and the first one should be an OG.
The first one is, I think, DG.
Because organization should not be saying ki 20% internal
No,
promotion.
why
I
did
am
I
just I'm
select
giving you
this?
example. I'm just giving you example for row number 15 because it's a department, HR department job to how to manage the turnover and all that. But in the
Correct.
case of promotion, that's why I'm putting the organization goal. It's all department heads requirement also to develop the team and give the chances so that they can increase. That's the reason I
But
want.
then you're facilitating, no? You're facilitating to achieve that percentage. But I am trying here to connect it back because see, if I facilitate and promote everybody to achieve 20%, then your organization objective will not be achieved. You will achieve 20% promotion rate, but performance of the organization may not be good. There will be incompetency there also. Look it from that perspective. Okay, let's keep it. No issues. We'll discuss on this.
Next,
No,
hire
is why I agree with this one. This should be the DG. I also agree with I think Vivek,
OG.
right?
Yeah.
With DG.
Let's on that time we will see what the madam. So we will learn accordingly. Okay. So next what?
I think
Just put that OG and DG in this case. And what about last one? Decrease onboarding time for new hire by 20. It's a department or individual. What?
DG.
DG, I think.
Department. DG. Most likely DG.
Okay.
See, there is one thing which comes to my mind. There is always a element of subjectivity in all those things, because a DG can be an IG for the head of the department, right? Right? Correct. So
Yes,
it's
yes.
there is a point of the illustration or can say interpretation कि किसके लिए हम assign कर रहे हैं. मतलब that can be for that can be DG also, that can be IG also for the HOD. Agree with me?
Yes, yes. For last and whenever is the percentage, just for my knowledge, let's say what ma'am will tell. For that we can consider in
Where are you
KPI
guys?
also.
Are you there here?
Yes,
Ho
yes,
gaya?
ma'am. I will.
Yes, yes.
Huh?
Yes, ma'am. So
Okay.
where is the percentage
Okay.
for the last
Quick. So you finished already, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Reduce employee turnover, huh, by 15% over the next year. What is this?
Department
Departmental.
goal with
Hmm?
DZ.
It is
OG.
for the across the organization. No, you have
OG.
to. So it is a OG. Got it?
Okay.
Is it for the entire organization?
Okay.
But
Improve average time to fill open
Ma'am,
positions to under 30 days. It's a departmental goal, no?
when why we differ here? Because this, this is the goal which will be aligned to the HR department.
No,
This is the
aligned, yeah, but it's an organizational goal, no? Ownership is with HR, but it is an organizational goal. They're
but
saying,
if
hey, you are,
ownership is with HR, who will achieve this? Because if this goal is not, uh, just confused here. I mean,
tell me what is the confusion about?
see, ma'am, what we are discussing basically. See,
Ah.
all these goals are having some element of how to say
Okay, I get
element
what
of
Yogesh is saying. Yeah, even KK.
element
So
of
say, for
interpretation.
example, I will say the CEO is saying, hey, you have to reduce employee turnover by 15%.
Correct.
Organization goal हो गया ना? But कौन कर रहा है? HR is trying to do everything.
HR head is so.
It is not turnover only from HR department. It is sales and marketing, production across the organization. Got it? So is it an organization goal now?
but
No,
this goal will
no.
be assigned to the HR only, no? Because
Yeah,
in the PMS
but
cycle, this goal will be assigned to HR.
exactly. They have to take the
Cascading.
initiative and all. But as a goal, it is that, hey, this year, the CEO is saying, Hamara turnover, it should be what? Reduced to 15% than last year.
Okay, ma'am. We can understand. Okay. What's what next?
Improve average time to fill open positions under uh,
30
30
days.
days. Obviously, departmental goal, na?
It's still will departmental goal in that perspective. Correct.
है ना?
Okay.
Department.
Just do the correction.
Conduct quarterly employee engagement surveys. Very true. DG बना दिया आपने. Correct.
Next.
Then launch a new company-wide wellness initiative.
OG.
Absolutely right. कौन बोला ये?
Vivek.
अच्छा, विवेक ने. Okay. All right. Achieve 90%. कोई तो पढ़ो भाई.
Achieve
90
90% participation is in mandatory compliance training. So it will KPI, someone telling and someone is
Exactly,
individual.
KPI.
KPI. Yes,
You
I
are right.
also tell KPI. Just
Next.
do KPI. Complete 5 hours of professional development per HR team members per quarter. Individual goal.
Individual goal. You are right. कौन है ये? विवेकानंद. Oh
हाँ
my
हाँ
God.
मैम सबको ही हम लोग ने मिलके बट
Too good. हाँ.
Increase internal promotion rate by 20%. OG, someone telling OG,
अरे
someone
बाप
DJ.
रे.
I
Hats
think
off
OG.
to you, विवेक. हाँ?
OG.
OG है ये.
Okay. चलो. Next, maintain an employee engagement score 80%. For me, it's KPI also. But here is department goal.
I will say now OG. No, not OG.
No, maintain an employee engagement score by 80%. So what will ma'am?
Maintain an it is a KPI, na?
KPI, that's KPI. Okay. Next is hire 50 new employee by the end of Q4?
Hmm.
IZ or DZ?
नहीं, higher, no, across the organization. OG.
OG. Okay.
हाँ,
Let's decrease onboarding time for the new hire by 25%.
हाँ, team goal.
DZ हम लोग ने डाला है.
हाँ, correct. Very
Okay.
good. ये तुम लोगों के पास तो सारे लोग ने इतना, हाँ,
Question
excellent.
किया.
हाँ,
I have a confusion with IG and KPI. I just confused with that because very. So just want to understand what is the difference between a KPI and IG.
what is the difference between a KPI and an individual goal? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what is the full form of KPI? Key
Key performance
performance
indicator.
indicator. Like for example, the height is measured by inches, है ना? It's an indicator. So अभी देखो यहाँ पर we will just take an example of an IG and a KPI यहाँ पर, ठीक है? IG goal है complete 5 hours of professional development per HR team member per quarter. Can you see a result? Key result? Can you see some deliverable outcome? You have to complete 5 hours of Yogesh as a training manager has to complete 5 hours of professional development per HR team member. ये तुम्हारा काम है, outcome, deliverable. But
Yes,
how
ma'am.
you will do it? I will put a measure there. Agar if people won't certify for that, that's a KPI. Are you now finding the difference? Clear?
Yeah. Yeah.
Clear, Yogesh?
Yeah.
Yes,
Individual
ma'am.
goal में सिर्फ outcomes होगा, deliverables होगा. KPI में there will be a measure, indicator होगा. ठीक है?
Yeah. Yeah.
Done?
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, welcome. Yogesh's groups, everything. Can the other group show me? I saw till now. I want to ask one question to this group. Okay? Anybody can answer, huh? Then you
Yes,
will get a brownie point. How will you differentiate between an individual goal and a KPI? For example, achieve 90% participation in mandatory compliance training. Okay? And here, individual KPI they wrote. Now, I want to know, yeah, there's a good example here now. Complete 5 hours of professional development per HR team member per quarter. Now, this group, please respond. Is it a KPI or is it a individual goal?
Individual goal, ma'am, because if I am part of the team, every team member has to complete these much hours of training.
So, individual goal definition kya hai? I will say, hey, Divakar, you are a training executive or training manager. I will give you certain 1 or 2 goals. It could be KRAs to result areas. Focus is result area. That means what? Outcome, deliverable. So what does it mean? Goal means you have to accomplish it. And what do you need to accomplish? 5 hours of professional development per HR team member per quarter. Clear hai?
clear.
So it is not a KPI. What is the difference between an individual goal and a KPI? KPI is only key performance indicator. Means how will you measure this? There is no question of measuring here. It is only a goal. Now, if I were to say, hey, this is an individual goal, it's not a KPI. What will be KPI? I can put a rider now. Complete 5 hours is a goal, but if I have to put a measure there, they all have to pass the, say, for example, they have to go through a 6 Sigma training per quarter. I will say all of them have to pass that 6 Sigma training certification. KPI means how am I going to evaluate? How am I going to measure it? So, यहाँ पे कौन सा है KPI?
90%
the
participation in mandatory compliance training.
Yes, that's a key performance
Area.
indicator.
Yes.
So, is this group able to differentiate between KPI and individual goal?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
So KPI normally
Individual goal of Tiwariji will be as an HRBP that Tiwariji means HRB. You have to conduct how many? 2 engagement surveys for every quarter.
Quarter.
Say, for example, or in a year, you have to conduct 2 employee engagement surveys. Okay, that's a goal. That's not a KPI. KPI will be then, say for example, if I want to put KPI, that means you have to have engagement score increased by say 3 points or 4 points. I mean, with reference to the previous one, because then what will you do? You will also do some initiatives. Because I'll put a target there. So every objective goal will also have what? Measure, target, and to fulfill that, you will have some 1 or 2 initiatives.
Initiatives.
Yes.
Are you now clear with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Because
Can you
if I
review
have
the
a
last
goal,
4 months?
if I have a goal, but I don't put a measure is what? A standard. कि कैसा इसको करना है. Target is how much he has to achieve. And initiative helps to achieve that target. Got it? Say for example, a simple thing. Turnaround time. Indian Airlines आपको Indigo Airlines मालूम है ना आपको सबको punctual है. Right? So I will say goal is turnaround time. Measure will be, what will be my measure?
The
It will
flight
be
should be ready for the next travel within.
No. So turnaround time will be the measure. Kitna time?
Yes.
Objective will be to be on time. Reduce the turnover on time. Reduce the turnover time. Measure will be by
In
how
hours,
much?
How
duration.
much?
Duration.
30% or what? Target will be, will I be able to achieve 80%? So I will say 90% of the time you have to achieve. That will be the target. So I'll put a turnaround time of so much, and 90% of the time you have to achieve it. Initiatives will be, maybe I will train the, ground staff. I will train the staff, which is also there, the boarding staff who will be able to quickly board your luggage, etc. That will be my initiative. Or even initiative will be web checking, so that, you are able to quickly have the people there lined up. Have you, in the airport, have you seen Indigo, how it works? There is people who will help you to quickly, arrival ke logon ko line up karte hain, departure walon ko line up kar dete hain. In fact, when a flight lands, you will see that much before that, they ready the flight. So they will ensure that all the garbage is taken out, everything. So that the turnaround time, those are the initiatives. So that the turnaround time, I mean, the flight does not actually stay on the tarmac for longer time, because when can you make money? Only when you make more rounds, not when you are actually down. So you want to reduce the turnaround time, but ऐसे ही हो जाएगा नहीं. Operational people get in quickly. What they will do, वो अपना maintenance करते हैं, fuel भर देते हैं, everything. Then क्या है, baggage वाले आ रहे, immediately they will come, they will offload it, ensure that, because both you have to look at departure and also arrival. Are you with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, guys. So I have just introduced you to these things so that,
Ma'am, the last 2 KPIs, we were
Yeah.
little.
We need clarity on those, ma'am.
दिखाओ जी.
50
Show me.
new
Row
employees.
23 and 24.
So read up somebody. What is
Hire
that?
50 new employees by the end of Q4.
Hire 50 new employees by the end of Q4. So what happens? The organization says, "हमको 50 employees." It could be from
Organization
sales
goal.
and marketing. It could be
Yes,
production.
yes.
It could be anywhere. Okay.
No.
So it is an organizational
Yes,
goal.
because we
Next.
have 2 different things. I was saying organization, and some was having a confusion between departmental goals.
Yeah, I felt it is
Yeah.
more of a department, because end of the day, buck stops at HR. While we are broadly saying, and
Ownership
similarly,
is with the
Ownership,
recruitment team is going to hire people, but it is an organization. Are you hiring only for recruitment team? You are
No.
hiring. It's an
It's
organizational goal.
yes, organizational planning.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Yeah. Next.
HR cannot take that call. Someone has to initiate.
हाँ जी, बताओ
Okay.
next क्या है?
And the
Decrease
24th row.
Huh?
decrease onboarding time for new hire by 25%.
Obviously, it's an HR goal, na?
Yes,
Department.
It
department
is
goal.
within whose control?
No, is it
Department.
a KPI or is it a department goal?
Department
Pardon?
goal.
Department.
It's a departmental goal.
Goals.
Onboarding time for new hires.
It's not a KPI, ma'am, because it is very specific.
No. Decrease onboarding time for new hires by 25%.
That is instructions. The email.
So it's a
Mm.
team goal.
Yeah.
So it's not a KPI.
No.
It's not a KPI.
And
Just look
what
at
would,
it. You are saying
what would make it a KPI?
no. So you are saying it's say for example, you put yourself, Gargi is in the onboarding team. Okay. So I'm saying, hey, one of your goal for you is decreasing the onboarding time for new hires. You are recruiting new hires by 25%. You are ensuring all the processes so that the time taken for onboarding is so. So it's a result. Just think of it. Look at the statement. It's a result. It's an outcome. It's a deliverable.
So, ma'am, what would make this statement a KPI?
So first of all, differentiate what is KPI key?
Performance indicator.
Indicator.
So decrease onboarding time for new
what
hires
will
by
be the
25.
KPI? So what will be a measure for it?
By 25. So decrease onboarding time for new hires by 25%.
What will be a measure?
So here when we said achieve 90% plus participation in mandatory compliance training, we called it out as a KPI. Here we are saying decrease onboarding time for new hires by 25%. We are saying it's a department goal. Will by 25% within a quarter make it a KPI?
Will come again?
Will adding within a quarter or in Q2 or Q3 make it a KPI?
So
when it is
so you have to actually assess it this way. Now, you just have to say for new hires by 25. Now,
Can I say, ma'am?
it's very interesting question
within
here.
timeline, we can give a for KPI within timeline, within 6 months or within 12 months. So we can.
So Gargi is saying quarter.
T is missing here. Gargi, here T is missing. T is timeline.
Yes,
so if
that's
you
why I'm
say,
asking.
So when will that make it, like if we say within the in Q2 or Q3 specifically, if we add that caveat,
keep a time frame there, and then that can be transformed into a KPI there.
That's why I'm asking 6 months, 12 months, whatever you want.
Because right now it is just a goal. Now that goal can be translated by giving it a timeline.
Yes.
Okay. Makes sense, ma'am. So timeline could be one of the features. However, in row 19, just trying to complete what I was trying to say, in row 19, there is no timeline, but there is a percentage.
No.
Like
That
copy
percentage is good enough. No, you have say about 100 people, you have 500 people. So your KPI is, that compliance training at least for 90%. 90% participation mandatory for compliance training. That's an indicator. Okay.
Mandatory is
Similarly,
also
we
there.
could add, ma'am, decrease onboarding time for new hires by 25% from last financial year. Could that also be a comparator?
Then it will become a comparator.
Got it, ma'am. Got it.
Okay. Now you have some interesting exercises which we have not done. I don't know how. I want you all to read a little because within 3 hours you can't really go through a lot of theoretical stuff. But I will appreciate all of you to go through the reading material what Vilma gave, and there are 2-3 exercises. Try and do them. Then you will have more clarity.
Okay.
Because here I can only give you a framework. I can help you to understand, but I'm sure it is you who will have to take the pain of reading through and understanding. Okay.
Okay.
All right, guys. Any questions before we go? Today, what we learned, the key aspect is alignment. When we are talking about strategic performance management, it is all about alignment. And how can we bring alignment with the alignment with the reference to strategic goals by using a tool called Balanced Scorecard. card. It's a report card. And why is it very, very useful? Because this can be cascaded down to the lowest level. The same kind of a report or scorecard can be translated, cascaded down to the lowest person. Okay. And you can monitor, and also that the lowest level a person can see what established line of sight, what I am doing, how is it aligned to the big picture. That's important, because if I'm doing what I'm doing in silo, then it doesn't really make sense, right? But is it adding value to what the organization wants? That is what is very important. How is it integrated? How is it aligned? Okay, guys. So in the next
Yeah.
session also we'll be hearing a lot about, and the interesting thing we'll be doing is strategic map. Just do a little reading about strategic map. Okay.